17-8, you good? Man, I'm hoping you're good. I'm praying for you. Do me a favor, subscribe to us, 17-8 Ministries on YouTube, and send this to somebody else. Send this to 2 or 3 people and tell them to lock in with 17-8 as we do our best to try to help you as you walk with God. 17-8, welcome back to a Discussions for Development. Listen, I'm excited to be here. I'm crossing off day ones. I've had day ones all on the channel. Clifton, day one. I should put pictures on from when we was little kids. Clifton, day one. Caleb, day one. John, day one. And now I get to welcome my brother, Zacoby Vanna, day one. Man, he's been with me, riding around, going to so many preaching engagements, man. Always been there. This is going to be a different Discussions for Development because we're actually here for his testimony. This is a actual personal story recently where the Lord literally saved his life. Zacoby's an entrepreneur, businessman, and that is his main priority right now. Give me your favorite gospel song right now.
What's that one song that we were singing? I had
Kirk Franklin song?
Yeah.
Goodbye Fear or Hello Fear or something like that?
Yeah, Hello Fear. That's what it is. Hello Fear.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
Yes,
I haven't heard anybody say Kirk Franklin yet.
Hello
and
Fear.
He is definitely a legend. That's a good one.
Yes,
so while you have the mic, give me what motivates you right now as a businessman. What motivates you right now?
Right now, my biggest motivation will have to be being in a different situation than I was last year. Because about last year, through a real bad depression, I had a lot of tables turned against me. So this year, I'm just really striving to be a bigger and better person, really and honestly, because God has brought me a long way. I was sitting in a hospital bed for a week, partially collapsed lung, just back in end of August, going into September. I really had to trust in faith, you know what I'm saying? I had to really work on faith because I was in a situation that I didn't know how it could turn. I didn't know how the tables could turn. I didn't know if I, you know what I'm saying, would gain the strength back in my lung quick, whether I would have to go through surgery, where they would have to insert a tube through my chest to my lung just to open it back up. Like, there were so many tables and, you know what I'm saying, things, so many different obstacles in the way. It was just like, man, so I definitely can say my biggest motivation this year is to be better, bigger and better than I was last year.
Keep the mic. So I told you this is really his time for testimony. So I've asked him our main 2 questions we like to ask our guests. And this is his time to tell his story. Now let me just give you my perspective. This is like my brother. So when this man texts me or calls me and tells me, hey man, I'm in the hospital. Prior to going to the hospital, I had talked and he just told me, I'm not feeling good. I'm not feeling great. Something is off. Mm-hmm. And so to hear maybe that next day that you were in a hospital, it just caught me by surprise. All I could do was pray and just try to make sure he kept his head up. That was my perspective. And every day past that, that's all I could do for him. I couldn't go up there to see him.
Mm-hmm. It was too risky, man, with COVID and stuff like that still going around, with having a partially functioning lung, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like COVID can really do you some real damage, man. Yeah. So I wasn't able to have any type of visitors or anything. Only people that was in there was my folks, man. My folks.
Start from, I'm telling the audience that, you told me maybe the day before about your struggle. Take us through that up until probably around, how you, of course, made it through that.
It was, I believe, a weekend. If I'm not mistaken, it was like a Saturday or Sunday. I was out riding around. I had my little cousin with me. We weren't doing too much. We were just riding around, and I just started to have a pain. It was like a pain in my backside, on my right backside. And it started to get real sharp. And I've had a pain similar to that before, so I didn't really think too much of it until I started to have real shortness of breath. Once I started to have real shortness of breath, I'm like, this isn't
Right.
This isn't right. This isn't normal. So, me being me, I'm kind of stubborn. I think I get it from my dad. So,
The piece of that man.
yeah. Rest in peace.
That
My
man
be crying real tears, boy, just to see where we at. And I chose to try to sleep it off, which in the next morning I was still feeling the same way. So, I called my female friend at the time. I called her, and we conversated for a little while. I kind of told her the situation, what I had going on, what I was feeling. And if it wasn't for her, I probably would have tried to stick it out another day or two. But she convinced me. She convinced me to go in, you know what I'm saying, go to the urgent care, get it checked out. At first, they told me it was pneumonia. They told me I had pneumonia. So I went to Publix, I went to Walgreens, I got my prescriptions, I got everything that I needed to try to help fight the pneumonia. So I go back to that same urgent care the next day after I go get my medicine, because I wasn't able to get my x-rays. They needed to do x-rays on me. So I went back the next day to get my x-rays, and lo and behold, while I'm still sitting in the office, the nurse comes back in and is like, thought it was pneumonia, but we sent your x-ray down to the hospital and you need to go there immediately. And I'm like,
what?
Yeah, man. I'm like, I gotta go to the hospital immediately. So that kind of threw me by surprise. So I asked her, I'm like, what's wrong? What's going on? And she told me, I have a collapsed lung. I have what they call is a spontaneous pneumothorax, which is basically it's the word spontaneous means kind of sudden, out of nowhere. And then pneumothorax is the medical term for collapsed lung. So she came back and told me that. I left the urgent care. I went to Madison Hospital. As soon as I got there, I got to the ER. I dropped my paperwork off. Then they sat me to the side, took my vitals real quick, and then when I say that waiting room in the ER was so packed, man, I seen people in there with blood, patches on their arms, full of blood, covered in blood. They still sitting in the ER room, waiting room. Man, when I say they got me back there immediately, but I guess you could say my condition was a little bit more severe.
Wow.
I guess you could say. Yeah, like they literally, as soon as I got them my paperwork, they got my vitals, I probably sat out there for no longer than 5 minutes. And I got pulled, they came out with a wheelchair, put me in a wheelchair, rolled me back, asked me the little, you know what I'm saying, the questions and stuff like that. What do you do? Blah, blah, blah. Took me back for another x-ray, then again showed the gap in my lung, between my lung and my rib cage. So they took me to a room. I got admitted to the room. I probably was in there about 15 minutes before anybody that I'm actually close with, like family, friend wise, to actually come and just be in the room with me. It was probably about another 15, 20 minutes. So I sat in that room they put the oxygen on me because I couldn't breathe on my own. I had to have oxygen. Like, once I got actually admitted to my room, I couldn't even go to the bathroom without having somebody come assist me, come turn my oxygen mask down, come do this, do that, because I was basically a fall risk because of the fact that my body wasn't getting enough oxygen. If I stood up too quick, I'd get lightheaded and faint. So they had me on a monitor. Basically, I had to press the button, press the little call button just to get a nurse to come in there just to relieve me, just so I can go use the restroom. So, it was definitely one of those type of experiences where it's like, I never want to be back here.
Yeah.
Because I had nights when I was in the hospital, I sat there, like if my female friend wasn't with me, tip my hat to that woman. Because even when my family couldn't stay, that girl did not leave my side. And I will always make sure that she is okay, just like she will always make sure I'm okay. Especially on those nights when I was there by myself, I couldn't do anything but call on God, just asking him to heal my body, heal me from the inside out, just begging him, pleading for a second chance just to be able to function and move and run the same way that I was able to, just to be able to chill with my friends, be out with my friends, be even able to go to the pool. Because when I first got discharged from the hospital, they told me strictly I can't go to high elevations, meaning I can't get on an airplane. I can't do anything like that. I can't go in deep water because the pressure of the water starts to weigh down on your body, which basically would cause my lung to collapse again. So I couldn't go swimming. I couldn't do anything that a normal person like me would want to do. I can't travel. I can't do any of that stuff. So it was definitely a test of my will, a test of my strength. I can definitely say that, because if it wasn't for me putting my faith in God, man, I probably would have gave up in that hospital bed, bro. Because every day I'm feeling a little bit better, but they still coming in, they still taking my x-rays, still coming back in telling me there's no progress. There's no progress. I'm like, how is there no progress? I'm feeling better. I'm starting to get my breath back. How is there no progress? So every night, every morning, I wake up. Every night before I go to sleep, I'm calling on God, calling on His name before, like, everything, bro. I'm just praying. I'm having people pray with me. I'm praying for myself while I'm with everybody. While I'm by myself, I'm just praying, just calling on God. And man, when I say on that 6th day, they pulled me down for x-rays, and they came back about 15, 20 minutes later with my x-rays, and they told me basically that my lung had completely reinflated, that they're just going to do a little bit more monitoring. I'll probably have to be there for about another 3-4 hours just so they can do some final little tests. And then that same day I got released. And when I say I couldn't do nothing but thank God, man, because I was really in a situation where the tables could have been a lot worse. It could have been a lot worse. Like, I could have been one of those people walking around with a big scar on my body, man, just because I don't exactly know what caused it. But I can say that I do know now that I wasn't taking care of my body as I should. I wasn't, you know what I'm saying, being in the gym, staying active. I was working. So I was working, going home, eating, and then I'm human. So I was a smoke person that chose that instead of doing what our elders tell us to do, is to call on God and to reach out to God, to give Him our problems, give Him our issues. I was choosing to cope by smoking. I would smoke to get away from those thoughts, to run away from those thoughts. So as I'm doing that, I'm not doing what it takes to make sure that I'm okay, healthy. You know what I'm saying, healthy. Because at the same time, just slowly making myself worse due to a depression. That's literally all it was. It was a depression. I got into a point where I wasn't able to work. I couldn't get a stable job.
So Jacoby, give me the verse that stuck out to you when you were in your...
The verse that stuck out to me actually comes from Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11. And it reads, "For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. They are plans for good and not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope." Specific verse stuck out to me a lot just for the fact that he lets me know that He has plans for good for me. He's not here to let me down, let me drown, let me fall. And I have virtues that I face, but nothing that He puts in my way is too big or too small for me not to handle. Everything that he puts in front of me is something that I can manage, I can do. I just have to continue to keep my faith in him, continue to keep my faith in the things that I know that he has empowered me to do. He gives me the power to do.
After he got out of the hospital, first thing he did was run and he texted the 17-8 group chat. By the way, if you want to be in it, daily inspiration, daily encouragement, DM us at 17.8 Global on Instagram and we'll add you in there.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate this brother for coming on and sharing his story.
You for having me.
Listen, I told you that video was going to empower, inspire, and encourage you. Listen, we're praying for you daily here at 17.8 Ministries as we do our best to try to help you as you walk with God. Do me a favor, not only subscribe, like, and share this video, but follow us on our social medias at 17.8 Global on Instagram and 17.8 Ministries on Facebook. Listen, I love you. We're praying for you.